I think singing helps.
Okay, what song should we sing?
Well, you got to start it off, babe.
Okay.
Oh, shit. Yo, what up?
I'm gonna tell you how it's gonna be.
Ba 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 ba
You're gonna give your love to me.
ba 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 ba
I'm gonna love you night and day.
ba 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 ba
No, our love will not fade away.
ba 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 ba. Not fade away. Classic. Classic Buddy Holly and the Crickets.
Yeah, we heard Bruce sing that on Howard the other day, and I was like, I don't
Bruce
know.
Springsteen sang that on Howard Stern. You talk about people like fucking anyone knows who you're talking about. These old boomers.
Who's a more iconic Bruce? Bruce Lee, I guess.
No, there's no more iconic Bruce than Bruce Springsteen. He's the boss.
Yeah, so.
I don't know if I've ever fully expressed on this podcast my love for Bruce Springsteen and how influential he's been on my life and my artistry and everything. Get that mic a little closer to your mouth. Let's actually do a podcast.
I really enjoyed his conversation with Howard Stern the other day. I was like, this is so good, because he was like just picking up the guitar in between. I was like, maybe we should just record this and share it with people who don't have Sirius XM.
It's on YouTube.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
Yes, seek that out. Howard Stern interviewed Bruce Springsteen for the first time somehow. Two guys who have been in each other's orbit for fucking 35 years, 40 years.
But what was the controversy? Howard was always talking shit on Bruce.
I grew up listening to Howard in the 80s and 90s, and all he did was just talk shit. He was a miserable fuck. He was in a bad marriage, and he hated his life, and he would just get on there and be bitter towards people who were experiencing success he thought he should have.
Mm.
And it made for very compelling radio, but I could also see why a guest like Bruce would be like, why would I come on here? You make fun of me. You make fun of my wife. But...
That's my wife.
Yep, but the mountain came to Muhammad. And Bruce did the interview and did stand up for his wife in the interview, which was cool, you know.
How did Howard make fun of his wife? Do you know?
I don't know. You're going to fucking ask me for a detail out of tens of thousands of hours of fucking broadcast? The guy does 4 hours a day for 5 days a week for 40 years.
And you listen to most of them, so.
I did. I listened to so much Howard Stern in my life, and I've listened to so much Bruce Springsteen in my life, so it was a coming together for sure. And it was 2 hours and 15 minutes when we were on a long road trip. Isn't that the nicest fucking thing? When you like settle in with you, like, oh man, this next 2 hour chunk of this fucking road trip is just taken care of right now.
You were like, I'll take over driving. I'm like, I got this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me drive while it's easy.
Yeah, it's harder to drive when you don't have something very compelling to listen to.
Yeah, on the way down, we were listening to Jerry Garcia Band, and I loved it. I love JGB, but we then put on like a podcast, and I was like, the time flew like 10 times faster.
Podcasts make a road trip go faster.
Why is that? It's less repetitive?
I don't know.
Lyrics, you're hearing the same lyrics, and then...
I don't know. It's weird because you're engaged in a different way. When it's music, it's a little bit more passive listening, especially if you know the artist really well.
It's easier to let your mind wander, I think.
Your mind wanders when you're just listening to music. When you're listening to a podcast, you're just like in that with those people, and that's cool. But we just got back from Hulaween. I'm very much under the weather, but I'm trying to rally to do this. This is the best I've sounded in like 3 days. So if I sound like shit, just know it's the best I've sounded in 3 days.
I think that happens a lot after like a big experience. Is you kind of, your body like really gives it its all, and then it's like, womp womp.
Yeah. Well, me and Joey just went through a similar thing. You know our boy Joey from Boys Club, Joey Lipstein. He's shooting this movie Wooks with us, so we went down to Hulaween, of course, and we left for Hulaween on Monday, and separately because Joey lives in Florida and we're up here. We partied on Saturday night, and Joey partied on Saturday night. He partied in Florida, we partied up here, and we both paid the consequences. We were hanging out. Shout out to my boy Forrest. He's the man. He had us up to his beautiful house that was built in the 1730s, and we formed a new little band called Dreamboat, It's
Sounds great.
me, you, Mare, Shane.
I'm not in the band yet,
and
but
Forrest. You're there. You're in the band. You're in the band, man. You're feeding the band. So that's very important.
I'm catering.
Yeah, yeah. So we're hanging out at Forrest, and I know Forrest smokes spliffs. You know me. You know me. I got a fucking read on the situation. So days before we went there, I was like, "It's gonna be a fun day. I'm gonna smoke spliffs all day." And I did.
Poor Forrest. I've given him such a hard time.
You have fucked that kid up, man.
I really have.
Is talk about walking on eggshells.
Oh my god.
We were hanging out with Forrest once, and I was like, I smoked a spliff with him. It was the first spliff I had smoked in months, in 5 months probably.
And you go around being like, I haven't smoked a spliff in months, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And I was excited to smoke one. I smoked one with him, and then you gave him a talking to, I guess. You didn't even tell me.
Well, I think sometimes I can be very stern.
You can be very serious.
like
It's like, hey, is there any humor in that, what you just said to me? Is there any lightness in what you just said?
Yeah, I can be like I have like two sides, or I guess all people have multiple personalities,
yeah.
but there is a person that goes like, Forrest, you can't give Sean spliffs, you know? Like, what are you doing?
And he took it very seriously.
He's like, oh, I'm so sorry.
So
like thinking like I could tell you what to do, and then I could tell Forrest what to do.
Well, I mean, in a way, you got your intended results, because like I asked him for this is months ago. I asked him for a spliff that day, and he starts fucking acting like a weirdo and like shuffling around the room and trying to make excuses, this and that. Normally when I fucking be like, yo, Forrest, let's smoke a spliff, he's like, let's twist one up, let's do it right now. And I had no idea why he was acting weird, but I had a sneaking suspicion you had something to do with it, and it turned out you did. But
well, then I felt bad, because then I saw that like you guys were he was kind of like avoiding you, and I was like,
I know. I was
shit.
like, what the fuck is going on right now? So then we're at his house a couple Saturdays ago, and I'm like ready to smoke spliffs all day, and I get there and I'm about to light up the first one, and he's like, is this what's going? Kind of like just feeling you out, and you're like, hey, I'm sorry I scared you that one time.
Sean's his own man. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. Anyway, we played beautiful music all day. We made 15 new original hits, and
are you guys gonna share those?
No.
Okay.
No. We got to get them in shape, you know. It's like 4 people getting together in a room. One of them is me. So, like, I'm the weak link by far. We got Mare, Shane, and Forrest. Forrest knows how to play drums now. He's a legit
really
drummer.
Shane.
Mare can play any instrument, and she just sings the whole time, which makes these into songs, not just like a jam out.
Right.
They're songs.
Yeah, it sounds so good.
And Shane, forget about it. My man. He is just such a sweet guitar player. Only been playing for like 3-4 years.
I mean, he kind of is the epitome of Dreamboat. Like, why?
That's why I named it Dreamboat. That's why I named it Dreamboat. I was like, Shane's going to be there. This isn't really Ghost Pipe. This is more Dreamboat. And it took on that vibe. It was good.
Totally.
It was really good. But I smoked probably 3 spliffs, and
never again.
Fuck. Damn. It got me. It got me. I woke up Sunday fucking feeling like dog shit. Packed up the car. We left Monday morning with my nose running like it's never been running before. I was just like, I was a disgusting mess.
Do you think that's the spliffs, or do you think that's like fall?
It's partly fall, because I was having allergies before that, but I feel like the spliffs just compromised my lungs, and everything got thrown out of whack, and it was just a dumb fucking thing to do right before we got on the road. And I mean, I was fucking driving down to Florida literally with just tissues stuffed up my nose.
And that's why Joey called us, and he's like, guys, I'm sick. And we're like, the fuck you are?
Yeah, Joey calls us on the way down, and he's like, y'all, I'm fucked up right now. I think I got a cold. And we're like,
you're not.
You're not fucked up. You don't have a cold. Stop it.
No, I said, you can have a cold, but then you're not doing this.
Yeah.
I was like, you don't have to do it. Sean and I'll do this.
Which we could have done it. We could have done it.
Weird.
It would have been weird, just not as fun, just not as like festive, whatever. We're going to a fucking Hulaween, you know what I mean? Like it's not necessarily our scene, but it's not our scene. So we would have made it work, but Joey rallied. Cass gave him a little talking to.
No, I felt him out. I was like, yo, if you're really sick. But he rallied. He talked to his dad, and his dad was like, I hope Joey doesn't mind me saying this. So I was like, I think a lot of people have worked through colds. 28-year-old young men.
He said 28-year-old otherwise healthy young men have worked through colds for thousands of years.
Like running, and it wasn't like he was a little sick, but then by the time he got to us, it was fine.
I see where he was coming from, because it's like, yo, we're about to be sleeping outside for 5 nights.
Yeah.
And
we don't have the best record of sleeping.
We're probably not going to be able to sleep, because we assume that it's going to be a goddamn party all night, which it is. It is. It's hard to sleep in that situation, but Hulaween is it's a festival down in Florida that, and while we were making this move, we were shooting Wooks like all summer at different like jam band things. We were seeing fish, and
we're doing it very lo-fi. We have this camera we bought 7-8 years ago or
Yeah.
something now, and
Yeah.
we're like, it's really the only way to do this. Like, of course you want to do a legit camera, but there's like, you need to charge batteries in a way that we don't have the capacity to. So we're like, all right, we got to do this like super.
it was either this or cell phones. So
Yeah.
the cinematography looks great. It's fucking awesome. Like, I'm so psyched that we chose this camera package, and just to do this with Joey, and just a less consequential production than what I feel like we normally have. Normally I'm doing these things like, we better fucking get it. We
Yeah.
better fucking get it. I'm spending thousands of dollars. And we did spend thousands of dollars to go pull this off, but we got it.
did. Yeah, we got some good stuff.
We got some fucking amazing stuff. So we showed up down there Wednesday. The festival started on Thursday. We're pulling into the thing, and already tens of thousands. There's already probably 15,000 people there. So we're pulling into this thing like, what the fuck? Where are we going to camp? This is insane. But we found probably the last like tree-covered area that there was available, and we got it, and we set up a great camp. And Joey arrived. It was all good. Then our boy Connor came down with his new friend Kennedy. She's really rad. So the whole crew assembled, and we started it off.
I will say, I can't like guarantee this. I think Hulaween's like an awesome festival. Highly recommend. But part of the reason I would highly recommend it is because we were pretty much able to get full night's sleeps. Like, the area we were in was very respectful. And I think it's because we kind of were like, okay, where's the family camping? Let's camp near there, where generators aren't allowed. I saw on the, there's a Reddit thread, and people were like, I haven't slept. It's 5 a.m. and they're still blasting music. I'm losing my goddamn mind.
I mean, you could hear it in the distance. Like, there was crazy parties going on all night. And we experienced that this summer when we went to a festival called Funk and Flow out at Nelson Ledges.
Yeah, people come to rage.
The people behind us set up a fucking professional sound system and just blasted Britney Spears and Backstreet Boys all night. And it was pure torture. Not sleeping is the worst. I'm not myself. Even if I get any less than fucking 8 hours of sleep, I'm just a shit piece.
Yeah, we're like, oh, this festival is awesome. Let's go again. And then we think I would go again if the stars align and everything.
Yeah.
But you're so luck of the draw with it.
Yeah.
There's really no guarantee.
If you end up near shitty neighbors, or like people that are going to fucking party to the wee hours. But it was cool. We were surrounded by people that all seemed to prioritize like getting a night's sleep. I thought I was going to feel like one of the oldest people there, and it was not the case at all.
Have you ever been to like groups or anything? Like, well, I've gone to like full moon circles or whatever, and it's and then you sit in a circle, and then you get to know the people like right next to you, and I feel like, or you go around in a circle, and it always seems that the people who have like a similar energy going on like gravitate to the same area.
Yeah.
And it kind of feels like that's what happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes at a festival, because like the people next to us were like playing guitar, and Connor brought his guitar and mandolin, so it was like we had a little bit of a acoustic vibe near us.
Yeah. It was fun, and like we hit the ground running. Thursday was a little tough shooting wise because people were still showing up. There wasn't a lot of people to interview. The true wooks weren't really out in full fashion yet. So Thursday we chilled. We were excited to see Disco Biscuits that night.
We lasted 20 minutes.
It's so intense. It's so fucking intense, this music. I love it. I think the Disco Biscuits are a cool band, but like fucking, I don't know, seeing them with that amount of people, and it was.
I loved the first 20 minutes, and then they like put on like where they're like really playing the music, and then they like 20 minutes in, it's like, all right, they're just playing like a beat.
Yeah.
And I was like, get me the fuck out of here. Like, I get so mad when music feels like it gets
repetitive.
Yeah.
Switch it up. Come on.
Like, switch it up. Or, like, if you're going to be repetitive, like, do it with an instrument where there's something human about it. When, like, it loses the humanness, I'm like, I feel like I'm getting assaulted. And I'm like, I'm consciously deciding to stand in this crowd, and I don't feel like I want to be here anymore. And that's the beautiful thing. You can just leave.
Yeah, you really can.
Just like, all right, I'm out of here.
Yeah, we sat down, and like there was like an older lady that seemed to be there by herself that you bonded with. That was cool.
Wheezy.
Yeah, this couple was sitting next to us before Disco Biscuits came on, and they were like, "We're on ecstasy," and we were like, "Fuck yeah!" And they see us spraying Chilcagwe in our mouth. I've left the bottle down there, but it's this crazy spray that you spray in your mouth, and it just fucking. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a million packs of fucking Pop Rocks at once. It just lights up your mouth. And the couple next to us who was on ecstasy saw that me and Joey and you did it, and they were like, "What is that stuff?" And Joey showed them, and they sprayed themselves, and we're just fucking goddamn. I can't even imagine.
It's more intense on any sort of
when you're on
enhancement.
substances,
I've like literally had exorcisms, like spraying that in my mouth, like naively on acid. I'm like, holy shit, like the devil's in my throat, and I gotta like exorcise him.
Yeah.
You know, that's really how it's felt.
Yeah. It was cool. I think that what I really liked about that festival was even though it's like a corporate music event, it didn't feel like one. It doesn't feel. There's not like. It just didn't feel like brought to you by Bud Light. Like it just didn't feel like there was.
Because it wasn't like that.
It wasn't. There wasn't a corporate vibe to it at all. There wasn't even. I really deeply appreciated that, like, because whatever it took to pull this off is a full-time fucking job. This festival is over the top. There's so many stages. There's so many things to see and art exhibits and just things happening. The production that goes into this is just insane, and you're not aware of it.
It's seamless.
It's seamless.
Like, as someone who's kind of tried to organize things, I'm like, you don't see anyone walking around stressed.
You don't see anyone on walkie-talkies like, "Oh, do you have 10-4, fucking get the thing over here. What the fuck is it?" Like, everything was
and the music,
seamless.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people listening to this have been to festivals, so we're just like, we're noobs, whatever.
Yeah, but these are the things that impressed us.
Yeah, we're just like, okay, one band ends, another band starts. It's seamless. Everything's flowing.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed myself. I'm not like super into electronic music, which kind of like makes
that was a good part of it.
A good part of it kind of assaulting to me, you know, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But you can kind of choose your own adventure when it comes to this sort of stuff.
Mm.
The first couple nights, like, shout out to Judy. She was like, "You really got to see Eggy." And 12 midnight came around, and I was like, I can't do it.
I know these bands we wanted to see. There was a band I wanted to see. They started at 2:30 in the morning. I was like, I'm already asleep. Like, fucking get out of here.
I can't do it.
2:30 in the morning.
By the third night, I had like more energy by the evening, but I'm not. I guess I'm just took a second to get adjusted.
We did the right thing. We saw the bands we wanted to. I mean, this is a festival that's thrown by the band String Cheese Incident, which I don't think really either one of us had any experience with. I've seen a couple of their YouTube videos. They come up in my recommendations all the time because of the Grateful Dead connection. But they played, how many sets did they play?
6 or 7.
They played 6. I think they played 2 on Friday, 3 Saturday, and then 1 Sunday.
Yeah.
Incredible. They're the real deal.
Very solid.
Very solid.
And fun and like good grooves and vibes and just everything about it was just enjoyable.
And it's great because everyone there knows they're going to play 6 sets.
And one of them's going to be like a cover set.
And one of them is going to be like a Hulaween cover, all covers. That's the Saturday night. The third set on Saturday night. And they came out and just did fucking some of the best versions of songs I've ever heard. It was just a party. I've never seen a party like this. I think there was 25,000 people at this festival. Every one of them lined up to I don't know, my dad needs our attention. Today's his 70th birthday.
Happy birthday, Jack.
Yeah. So what was I saying?
Every song that
we're Saturday night was just every person at this festival, 25,000 people, every person was watching their set on Saturday night. It was like a party like I've never experienced before.
Yeah, there's a stage on the other side of the field, and then that whole stage, everyone's like, it goes all the way back.
Definitely. It was pretty incredible. And just like, I was really taking it in because we had such a good spot. We found a spot that, like, for some reason I think people thought was off limits. And I don't know, we just ended up watching all the sets from this one like picnic table that was like a little isolated that for some reason
it was like behind the main sign.
Yeah, that made my whole time there. The fact that we could go and enjoy the music without having to like battle and stand in the crowd, that we could kind of be on this hill a little above it. The sound was perfect and loud, and I was just taking it in. Like, we're dancing with our friends at a show to beautiful live music, and it's been a while. And how often do you have your dope friends there, and everyone's dancing, and there's room to dance, and there's room to put your shit down and fucking get hydrated and get high, and like the whole thing. It was just perfect. It was just like fucking an incredibly rejuvenating experience for sure.
Lots of hot babes and dudes.
Crazy. I thought we were hot.
No, not at all.
No, not at all.
No, it's like, and I feel like maybe if we went another time, we'd be more chill about it. But we were all like, oh my God, look at her butt. Because it's like full ass. And it's like, this girl works out. And it's like all of the girls are showing off their
Every girl
booties.
there was showing off their ass.
There's a lot of girls in thongs. You don't get to just walk around and see girls with perfect asses and thongs all the time.
Not in those kind of numbers. I can't think of another situation where that would be the case.
It does add to the enjoyable factor.
It gives you life. It's fucking incredible.
And
It's so generous. It's like you're going to go around just being so sexy. It's so great. It's just so invigorating.
And then you got the Jason Mimosas walking around too.
Oh my God. There was this one dude walked by. Straight up, I was like, he's the Aquaman. Like, he's hotter than Jason Momoa. Like, a jacked, dreaded, beautiful man. Like, huge. I'm 6'1", and this guy towered over me.
Yeah,
he's three times my size.
He's probably 6'5" and like
jacked.
300 pounds of muscle.
Just fucking jacked, looking great, like piercing blue eyes. And he walks by, and I see Cassie's just like, what the fuck? She's like, that's a whole lot of man.
Well, we can't help it. We're just like, we're body pervs. Mare's like, I don't care about bodies, and we do. We're just like, bodies are awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
And but yeah, so every time a guy with muscles would walk by, I'd be to you guys, I'd be to you, and try to be like, that guy trains.
And the funny thing about you always pointing it out is like, oh, we already noticed that guy. We already talked about him. Me and Joey were talking more about the guys than the girls. You know what I mean? The girls, it was just ubiquitous. They were everywhere. And every now and then you'd see a dude who is, because Joey and I have been training, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And we'd see dudes, and I'm like, yo, you put our training to shame. You must be on steroids or something, bro. Like, just beautiful people. Just absolutely beautiful people. And, you know.
Hulaween in Florida, I mean, it kind of is a scene. It reminds me of when you say that you, like, lived in New York, and then you're 16 or whatever, and you move to Florida, and all of a sudden you go from, like, girls who wear baggy pants and baggy
hoodies,
like, flannels and hoodies all year, and then all of a sudden you got, like, girls in mini skirts in Florida.
I never knew that, like, girls had nice bodies till I moved down to Florida in 11th grade. I had never, I had no idea, like, the fashion up here and the weather up here just didn't allow for it. I moved down to Florida, and, like, insane what people would dress up and wear to school and shit. It was fucking crazy. It's very triggering. It does remind me of that. It's a whole different scene down there. But, goddamn, how fucking so many wild moments and good times, and just, oh, we didn't get attacked. That was our first one that we didn't really. We shot for 4 days and no one attacked us, or no one said get this fucking camera out of here or anything like that.
Everyone was there to show off and have a good time.
It's crazy. It was like everybody was treating it like, when we would show up with the camera and go up to somebody and start shooting them, they treated it like, oh yeah, here's my moment.
Totally. And it's also interesting because we talked to a bunch of people, not even on camera, but just like meeting people, and they're like, this is by far my favorite festival.
Yeah.
You know, everyone, and just like the people, the vibe, the campgrounds are so nice. Like, there's so many trees. So just like, you're like in the forest, the Florida forest.
Yeah. You know, in the first couple of days you're adjusting, and you're like, oh, I hope I can get through this. And by the last day you're like, I don't want to leave. I'm ready. I could do this more. Like, I want to do this more. Now I've prepared myself for this, and here I am. But
our Boognish pirate flag did get pirated, though.
Yeah, so when we got there, we set up, we tied a rope across some trees and just laid out, like, all of our tapestries and flags and stuff like this to, like, make the vibe and get some privacy. And when we went to pack up, our Boognish, our Ween pirate flag, I guess got stolen. And actually, I want to do this. I want to say this to whoever did that. This is just a message to one person, whoever did that. You have no idea what you've unleashed on your life karmically. It ain't nothing I'm going to do. It's nothing Cass is going to do. It's something God is going to do.
I I hope they have a great time with it.
Oh, I feel bad for them. I feel like they took on a curse by doing that. They steal someone's fucking boognish?
I feel like we were asking for it. You know, isn't like stealing pirate flags kind of what's up?
I guess. I don't know. I didn't take too kindly to it. I understand and things happen, but it kind of bummed me out because I'm like, it doesn't seem like something a Ween fan would do. It seems like something a jackass would do.
Oh, but what was cool, because we met a lot of Ween fans.
Yeah, we met so many Ween fans.
And you could tell because they had either a boognish or they had like a big poster that had a boognish on
Yeah.
it or whatever. So a lot of people, we were handing out these stickers we had made that our friend Seabass designed. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a bear body, like Grateful Dead bear, with a boognish head with Juggalo makeup on.
Yep. The Holy Trinity.
It's really fucking cool. And we have a bunch extra, and I gave them out for free at Hulaween, and I'm sending them to anyone who wants one.
Yeah,
so
if anyone
just let me
wants
know.
one, just send your address to Cass, and she'll ship them out.
I'm
We have a limited amount of those, but I think that they bring good luck and good times.
Definitely.
The boognish is a symbol that offers, at least for me and us, it's always good luck and good fortune. You know, it's you know, we've called down that symbol as like one of our angels, as like a beacon of light.
Wait, what is the boognish though? It's like wealth, power, money, or something.
It's wealth and power.
Wealth and
That's
power.
yeah, it brings you wealth and power, but many other things too. So
And with that comes a cost.
it's sometimes we had to pay the price. So yeah, I can't believe someone did that. These motherfuckers.
I'm not even sweating it. I do want to buy another one though, and that's where it feels stupid.
God damn, so many things happen. It's hard to even recap. You know, it's all such a fucking blur. We should have been recording while we were down there. You know, a little bit each day, but
I think there was a lot more good music than we were able to fully absorb and comprehend and get witness.
yeah,
But we did stumble upon Danielle Ponder, who was awesome, and she's actually playing in New York like Saturday night, so we might see her again.
yeah.
Beautiful soul singer. We caught
From Rochester, New York.
caught the last 3 songs of her set, and it was incredible.
Yeah, we were just walking around like the Spirit Lake venue, which is like this enchanted lake, and they just have some stages there. And we were like, "What's this?" And we just went over, and the music was just so compelling. And we checked it out, and she was wrapping up her set, and there was one more song left, and she goes, "Let's do one everyone knows." And it actually before she started playing, I was like, "What would be a song everyone here knows?" And she did the most incredibly bone-chilling version of Creep by Radiohead I've ever heard. And I was like, wow, that is one song that you could play to this generation that everyone knows. And then Joey said he hadn't ever heard that song until we played it for him at Space Camp.
Well, he's a younger generation.
Well, so is everyone there, but I thought that was
There's a good age diversity. I thought there were a lot of older people, a lot of younger people. Like it was.
Yeah.
I don't think you felt like, oh, I'm too old, or I didn't feel like that.
No. When I felt old is when I could feel that the party was ramping up at like 1 a.m, and I'm like, I'm ready to go back to my tent right now, throw in the earplugs and pass out.
Yeah.
Which we did. And then we saw another band, same thing, stumbled along. They made this they built like this incredible chapel, like enchanted wood chapel.
House of Lost.
It's called the House of Lost. Look, Google that. Insane venue. That's literally a church. There's church pews, and then an altar, and the band filled in on the altar. And what was the name of that band?
Zeta,
Zeta, from Venezuela, and I think they've been doing their thing for like 30 years. And I don't know who this guy is.
This is Ephraim.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
go see if your dad's home.
Cool. Stand by for one moment. So yeah, late night we stumbled across this band Zeta playing at the House of Lost. Just fucking craziest. Like it just felt like a heavy Krishna ceremony. Like it just felt like it was made for us.
Yeah, it felt like Church of Chill vibes, like taken to the max.
I was like, this is Church of Chill.
I'm like, I'm so glad that this already exists. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like we try to like fill in a gap, and it's like sometimes you're like, oh, the gap already exists. We just weren't privy to it, but you still want to expand the vibe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you bought me their vinyl and sweatshirt, which I'll be debuting when it's a little cooler out. But yeah, anytime we can discover a new band, and especially when you discover them, seeing them live, like that's the pinnacle for me. Like that's what life's all about. I feel like I got away with murder. You know what I mean? Like I found a new fucking thing that we can listen to, and that it just clicks with us in so many ways.
And it was a band that like the House of Lost wasn't even part of like the main schedule. So they had like, I don't know, 12 bands that played at this like church venue that wasn't even like advertised.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. We were, I probably laughed more that night than I've ever laughed in my life. Like, I don't know, something about, like, you know what I did the whole time? And I think this is worth mentioning. Because people go hard. And, like, when we were on our way down there, we were like, we'll probably take acid Saturday or Sunday. Maybe we'll take Molly Saturday. You know, we kind of planned out a little loose drug schedule, but then like me feeling under the weather going down there and Joey feeling under the weather, I was just like not feeling the big dose thing. And the amount of walking you're doing, we were walking 10 miles a day. So I just took fucking 3 or 4 or 5 mushroom microdoses every day. Fucking served me so right. It's almost like that helped pause this sickness, and the second the festival was over, it just came flooding back. The mushrooms were just like holding it at bay, and I don't know, it was good. It wasn't like I was tripping balls or anything, but I was definitely in the realm.
Kratom helped me.
Oh,
I kind of like knew for like months, like, because I've been off Kratom for
since June.
Since June.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, I'll do it this weekend because it's so helpful. But I don't.
For the second wind.
For the second wind, yeah. And I thought like, oh, well, maybe I'll have a harder time coming off of it, but it was fine. It doesn't make me want to do Kratom all the time again, but it's like,
I haven't felt tempted to do it again. We just did it for those 3 days, and it really helped.
Yeah, it felt like, okay, this is a tool in our tool belt, and when not abused, it's great.
It's great. I don't know if I've ever really abused Kratom, but I've over-relied on it. Where you wake up in the morning and you're like still getting the fucking dust out of your eyes, and you pop a Kratom, you know. It's not necessary. It's
like coffee. Like, you don't usually call people who drink coffee like abusers of coffee, but it's like if you have to drink coffee every day in order to not having a headache, like isn't that like kind of like where we were at? Not like where it would give us a headache, but kind of felt like, oh, you feel a little groggy unless you like use this thing.
Yeah. It helped us though, and I'm glad we did it. And I'm really grateful now, being on the other side of this, that we still have our Molly cherry, you know, because that's an important thing for us. We only do Molly now 3 times a year. It should be with Mare. I don't know. Like, we're with Mare, we should be doing, like, you know what I mean? I think it would be weird if we were, like, down there at a festival. Like, I don't think she would have cared, but I would have been like, damn, I can't do this for, like, another 3 months now. So, I don't remember the last time we did it. But we're probably coming up on about that time again. Yeah,
because we did two CB trips. That's why.
Yeah. But I'm glad that we didn't have to deal with any kind of Molly or acid hangover, or feeling tired, or like we went too hard the night before. We pretty much hit the ground running every morning. Fucking wake up, hit a porta potty, take a cold ass shower, and go around, start filming Wooks.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was really incredible.
It really does, like, because a lot of people go there with, like, 20 people, 30 people, like, in their crew, you know?
Yeah.
And it maybe not Hulaween, maybe, like we were saying, like, at Nelson Ledges, but it'd be really awesome to, like, consciously be like, yo, this is the weekend that we should go to Nelson Ledges, like, and really encourage our friends to come out, or anyone who we haven't met yet or whatever who's, like, looking for a good time.
I think
to be like, let's go all out this weekend.
Yeah.
Kind of like, you know, consciously but impromptuvely, you know, just it'd be fun for sure.
I think that's the future of space camp for us.
Mm-hmm.
Is like somewhat impromptu get together weekends, but you know, we could be a little bit more official about it so more people could gather together. We did one impromptu on like 2 days notice, and 13 people showed up.
Yeah, I think we're not in a position to invest a lot. Like, we invested a lot in the last one, and then, you know, it starts, I don't want it to cost people a lot of money to hang out and do drugs, so that's why there's these venues that, like, are established.
Yeah.
And you can take advantage of that, where it's like, oh, $30 a night or whatever, you know.
What's $30? Oh, like Nelson Ledges.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. It was it was super inspiring. And you know, the fact that like I know people say like, oh, this is a very expensive thing. What was it, like 350, 400?
Do you want me to tell you?
Is it more than that?
Yeah.
How much?
Well, for 4 nights, it was $471 a person.
Okay, with fees and taxes and everything.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, I don't think that's that crazy.
Yeah, for what you get.
Considering what this is, like what you know, what you get for that, like I could see putting that much money into it for sure. It's not like, well, that's what we want to charge if we did something like this at all, because we're not putting hundreds of bands on and like maintaining a venue and everything. So, you know, I think that part of our art is community building, and I think part of what I always say about art is art should be free. You know, so when you're building a community, that shouldn't be something that has the barrier of some expense married to it. You know, that's like kind of speaks to our last podcast. Like that just feels like us commodifying something that we feel very compelled to do. So I started a new band while we were there too. So right now we have.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited about this one. This one I'm really excited about.
Right, and this came from a dream. This literally came out of a dream. So we have Ghost Pipe is our band. Like that's the community band. Like if you're hearing this, you're in Ghost Pipe. If you have an instrument, even if you don't know how to play it, you're in Ghost Pipe. You know, Daniel's the drummer, and everyone just kind of rallies around, and Mare sings, and anyone can do anything in Ghost Pipe. And then we have Dreamboat, which I just described what that is, and then there's a new one. And I woke up with this just fully formed thing in my head. Like it was a dream. To the point where I was surprised I could recollect and tell you and Joey. But I woke up on the last day there, and I was like, Joey, we're starting like a parody dubstep duo called Bleeding Rainbow, where we're kind of like bringing like the shadow realm to that thing. You know what I mean? Where we're kind of bringing in like a punk rock, dangerous, darker vibe to the whole thing, where we're antagonizing the crowd, where we're making fun of the crowd, where you know, like, but it's still a good vibe, and like people are getting down and everything. But it's
We'll give an example of.
Well, I don't know if anyone knows the band Fear, but if you've never heard the band Fear, they're incredible. Punk band from the late 70s, early 80s, and they were featured in a movie called The Decline of Western Civilization Part 1, and it's the best scene in any movie ever. Like they're on stage in 1980 just spitting on and screaming at the crowd, and everybody's fucking trying to fight them, and they could barely get through one song, and it's just like...
Yeah, but give the example of like what you would say, like with the bass dropping and stuff.
Oh, yeah, like that's the whole thing. You know, whatever they're I don't know. I have to work on that stuff more. But like, yeah, we're instead of like let the bass drop, it's like you're all posers. You know, all that kind of stuff. I need someone like Noah to actually do the music. Yeah. But I could come up with the names and concepts of all the songs and the drops and everything. I just don't know how to make fucking EDM music. But Noah does. And I think it should be catchy and good and the type of thing that's like so undeniable, even though you hate the performers.
And you hate EDM.
No, I think that like the crowd should despise this band. It should be the definition of a guilty pleasure in this scene.
Mm-hmm.
You should feel embarrassed to tell other people that like you're way into Bleeding Rainbow.
Yeah.
But I think it's like the shadow realm of that kind of music, because I think now we've seen enough of that kind of music that I was like, that I don't know. I've just come to the conclusion it all sounds the same.
It really does.
It all is just trying to achieve the exact same vibe and the exact same moment, and that like, you know, it's just like so formulaic. So it's like, let's take that formula and put two fucking comedic goofballs up there who don't give a fuck about this kind of music and just want to call the crowd posers and antagonize them and see where it goes. I bet you this could become, if I had the wherewithal to go through with something like this, it would probably become the thing we'd become most known for. Sadly.
It's like I despise EDM and it becomes my life.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There was another comparison you had. You were like, oh, it's Fear meets, and there was another band. And I was like, you nailed it. But I can't remember. But Bleeding Rainbow, coming soon to a festival near you. And I even pictured, I think that the way to get this band in people's consciousness is like, for example, say next year, Everyone on Reddit's so excited. The Hulaween fucking lineup is about to drop. Like, everyone's psyched. They dropped the lineup, you know, those posters with like the all the groups' names. We just Photoshop Bleeding Rainbow in there, you know, in like one of the mid-tier things, and everybody's like, "What the fuck is this band?" And they're googling it, and it goes to a SoundCloud that has some of our stuff, and that's how it starts. By pretending you got booked on festivals you didn't get booked on.
You think you like hearing the bass drop?
Oh, you think you've heard a bass drop?
You think you've heard a bass drop?
You fucking don't know shit, y'all. Y'all are whack.
This is the one that's going to take you to the limit.
Yeah. And all this is to say, like, we're joking around, and I have no judgment on people that listen to that kind of music. I think it's very much reflective of a generation that I'm not part of, and kind of how the world feels to them.
I've never taken the time to like try to like it, so I don't even like. I just know that whenever I hear it, it's like when I'm trying to go to sleep, and so it's like that's when I'm just like so cranky.
We're annoyed by it, because usually people spark that up at the end of the night and like, let's get the party going. And it's like, fuck, god damn. Man.
But I want to like shout out to Sunseed, who we met out there, and they rage.
They rage. They dragged a tiny house out there.
It was incredible.
Yeah. Fucking talk about a great setup. I could be there forever if we had a tiny house there.
Oh, my God.
With walls and a proper bed and a sink.
And a shower.
A shower and a bathroom.
Shower hookup.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
But
they also had a massive DJ setup, and we're having parties the whole time. And it's like, fuck yeah, that's fucking rad. Yeah. But I just think what this scene lacks is someone to take the air out of the whole thing. Someone to come along and be like, all right, you twisted jokers. Like, let's not take ourselves so seriously now. Let's get a sense of humor about this.
But isn't that kind of what it is? Aren't they already not super serious if they're like...
Yeah, probably not. Yeah. I mean, look, truly, I don't judge people that listen to that stuff. I don't understand it, but like I was just saying, like, I think I do in a way. You know, imagine being 10 years younger than
we
you
even
are
had
now.
this at Space Camp.
We had this issue at Space Camp.
I love it, Greg and Michelle, but they're very into like bass music, and I was like, Greg, you gotta cut it out. You're like,
you're
fucking
killing me.
You're killing me, man. I can't do it.
Fucking killing me. But here's the thing. I get it. Because
it's like stimulation overload.
Yeah,
you can't really think when you're stimulated overload.
Yes, exactly. And I think it comes from a generation of people that were put on fucking Adderall in second grade, and the world started moving a lot faster than any of us can keep up with. And this is just music that is like the soundtrack to the gear that most young people are in.
Well, I think it's also like when you go to these festivals young and you're on drugs and you just are like a cell in this like giant organism. Like the crowd is an organism, and you're all hearing like the beat dropping is so intense for everyone that everyone's simultaneously going through an experience.
Yeah. I mean, I went through it with hardcore music. I was like loved hardcore music, and it's the same thing. There's a breakdown. It's very formulaic. There's like the bass drop in EDM music is the breakdown of hardcore music. So like I understand, and I know what you're talking about. You live those moments. You're part of that. You're in that organism.
Yeah, what could be better than that? It
gets imbued on you, and yeah, you want to take it into your life for sure. For sure, I get it, but
it's just a matter of time before we're total fucking heads for it.
I don't know how that would happen at this point.
Well, the way I describe it is I like 90% of bluegrass music, and I only like 10% of EDM.
Yeah.
So it's just like there's just kind of that problem. Yeah. And I think the deal with that is like EDM is like a much more accessible genre. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to even know chords or anything to play it. So I'm not saying people don't, but I'm saying a lot of people play it who maybe are just getting into it.
Yeah.
Or it's that thing that I'm talking about where it's like just repetitive.
Yeah.
But when you get into bluegrass, it's like, man, you're fiddling around, you're taking people. I just love anything that like is like a shred. I'm such a sucker for.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Bluegrass is like totally my jam.
It's all it is. It's just shredders.
Yeah. On different string instruments, which I love string instruments.
But then there's also the difference too in like, you know, we're becoming more individuated, and EDM is something that you could just be one dude and do your thing. Bluegrass, you need 4 other band members at least.
And they got to be really
And
good.
they got to be fucking incredible. And also, where are you going to find a stand-up bassist and a fucking banjo player and a fiddle player? Like, you know what I mean? But we saw Molly Tuttle.
Amazing.
Amazing. Incredible performer. Look her up. Holy shit. She played on the main stage one of the days, and I think maybe a lot of the crowd didn't know who she was, but she definitely won them over. Yeah. It was quite the time. And you during her set, they came out dressed as Alice in Wonderland. And they were getting towards the end of the set, and you came over and you're like, I was hoping they were going to play White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane. And I was like, yeah. I said, there's still time. Next song. Boom, doom,
Well, and then when I looked them up,
boom,
that's one
boom,
of like their
boom.
songs.
No way.
Yeah.
They play that often?
Yeah, it was like it was like something they had released.
I need a recording of that because that song in reality is like 2 minutes and 13 seconds. It's a quick one. Should be a long jammer, which Jefferson Airplane used to really fucking jam on things. But Molly Tuttle made it into like a 10-minute epic, and it was just fucking awesome. Nothing like it for me. I don't know. I like when it's clicking, when live music is working, and they've won the crowd over, and they're just doing their craft up there on the highest level. Like, I don't know. I get off on that shit. I love it.
I don't know why it's taken us. I guess everything in our life, we have to make a movie in order to like go through the portal. But I mean, festivals were made for people like us who just like love music and love discovering new music and want to just go see a bunch of bands and then want to just like go back to the campsite and chill. And it's like kind of the perfect balance of like, all right, we're gonna go chill for like 2 hours and then we're gonna go listen to this band. And
it was the perfect expression of like, okay, here's our extroverted side. We're ready, and we go out and we're extroverted and we're asking people to be on camera and they're doing stuff and we're interviewing people, and then our introverted side takes over and we know how to drop into that pretty quickly. That's what we're mainly favor in our day-to-day. So, then we'd go back and recharge, and I think that's the thing, with me, you, and Joey, and I hope me, you, and Joey can always make movies together and just keep getting better and better at it. And there's lots of people we'll make movies with, but I think Joey's going to be one that we're always making movies with. And
our lo-fi movies for sure.
Yeah, but we'll keep getting better and better at doing them, and it's good. It feels like I'm practicing a little bit of a different craft right now, and it takes a lot of patience, and I'm learning. And that was one of the things Bruce Springsteen said in that Howard interview, that like both of our jaws dropped at the same time, and we kind of had to pause it and just talk about it for a second. He said, I'll do a terrible job paraphrasing, but basically his music is like a divination rod for his spirituality, meaning his songs are a reflection of spiritual growth that he's not quite yet there, but the songs reflect a higher part of his soul that he then evolves to. And we had to like stop it because it was like, we've never really said those words about our movies, but we've danced around that, like where it's like the movies are a divination rod. We go out there and we make them, and we're not sure what they are going to be or how we're going to feel about the subjects or whatever the case may be. And inevitably every time we come out on the other side thinking we are those people.
Well, I think Howard was asking Bruce, like, after you started doing therapy and became more aware, like, do you feel like your songs became more aware? And he was like, no, because my songs were always like, there's like a purity to them. And I think that was like feels reflective of like, oh, there's the movies before we started doing mushrooms and we started becoming like very more aware beings. But you look back and you look at American Juggle and you're like, yo, all the messages that we knew now, we knew then, just like on a more subconscious level, and it was more a reflection of the art and the people that we were attracted to and all that stuff. So
yeah, that one probably more than anything we've made is the divination rod of our catalog. Yeah,
because we were connecting with people who had done the drugs, but we were attracted to them for a reason. You know?
We were also scared of them.
Very scared until we were there for a few days.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh, there's no reason to be scared.
Or a day,
There's no reason to be really scared. Like you can, most people can be reasoned with and talked to, and
we're only really scared of teenage boys.
Yeah.
They're fucking, they got nothing. They think they have nothing to lose.
Yeah. We're in a very spiritual place if we're trying to ever make a movie about teenage boys. We know people that exclusively make movies about teenage boys. You know, I'm just too scared.
Well, there's certain types of teenage boys
No,
that
I
are
know.
scarier than other teenage boys.
No, I know. No, to me, it's not even individual teenage boys. It's a group of teenage boys. If you're just out there with your girl or by yourself, and you come across a group of teenage boys, it's just like, having been one myself, it's like, just avoid it. Nothing good's gonna come of that interaction. They're just they're in a place in their life where they feel invincible, and they have fucking hormones flowing through their veins.
Right, it's not nothing to lose. It's this feeling of invincibility.
Yeah, and not only that, but just like when you're in a group of teenage boys, it's like, how do we take this up a notch? And that you're in competition with each other. It's just
maybe drinking for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight the next fucker I see.
Any problem we've had on one of our movies involves some pack of teenage boys. Like, anytime we've gotten really spooked. Remember when we were making Oxyana?
Yeah.
That was the scariest one yet. Like,
they chased us. We were like at this campfire.
Somebody tipped us off. They're like, there's going to be a great bonfire in the woods tonight. You should come out. Like, a good amount of people are going to be there. It'd be a great place to film and, like, get some more people. So we follow this dude. It's pitch black. We follow him down, like, a 3-mile, 1-lane dirt road out into the middle of the woods, which just, like, on our way out there, you're already getting the feeling like, all right, we can't easily get out of here. So let's fucking behave ourselves. And we land, and for some reason, like, with Oxyana, we had 11 people on our crew, which we would never do that again. But, like, everyone just hops out of the car, like the people there know we're making a movie. So 2 cameras are out, and someone's going around fucking trying to hand out releases to people, and one of them just was like, what the fuck is this? And then they all turned on us, and we could have done a better job, like, settling before we started getting into business. Our fault. But they turned on us and started, like, screaming shit, coming towards us, throwing stuff, and, like, we ran to the car, got in the car, and we had a security guard. Fucking, he took out his gun. He's like got his gun ready. We get in the car and, like, trying to get out of there. These guys are fucking throwing stuff at us and running towards the car, and we're trying to get out of there, and we have to make, like, a 15-point K-turn, like Austin Powers style, to get out of there for 2 vans.
Oh my god.
It was pure insanity. And
ever since then, we've been scared of teenage boys.
well, just also ever since then, it's like, settle. Let's settle before we start filming. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then maybe that's not always the case. It doesn't always work. Like I was telling you the other day, like Michael Moore, the director, doesn't deal with subjects without the camera running. Like he got the camera rolling from when they walk in and meet people, because his idea is, don't get them used to, oh, there's the camera off and the camera on, and oh, I can relax now and this and that. Like, just get them used to the camera rolling, and just whatever comes of it. And just basically, it would involve shooting a lot more than we do. I think I'm pretty good at pulling those moments out when the camera's rolling and not having to have the camera rolling for fucking 16 hours a day. But there's some different schools of thoughts on it.
Each project calls for something different.
Definitely. What else do you remember?
You got these moon mats.
Oh, yeah, and what we're sitting on right now, we got some moon mats. I don't know if anyone gives a fuck about that, but
They're these giant things that you see people lugging around, and you're like, you know what? We should lug something giant around.
it's just a soft thing to sit on. It's really nice. My throat is fucking killing me, man.
Well, do you want to wrap this up?
Let me see. Mom. We could talk a little more. Come on, Cass.
All right.
What else you got?
Fucking stiff neck. It's my karma for talking about back pain being emotional, and then I just fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's partly emotional, but it's also partly like anytime, like this whole weekend I didn't have it, and then I get home, I'm looking at my phone, and anytime I'm like in this position looking down, it fucking starts to kill me.
Mm.
And I gotta really not look at my phone. Gotta grow up. So, I don't know, that's what's on my mind, but let me see, what else? I don't know, just having a good time. Life is good. I've, like, really enjoyed being out of the city for the first time in, like, 11 years.
Yeah.
And being able to, like, well, I guess 12 years.
First time in 18 years for me.
Yeah, because we would drive up and be like, we'd catch like 1 or 2 nice fall days, visiting our family up here, families. But now we're really feeling every moment of it, and it just feels really special.
Yeah.
So if you live in nature, don't take it for granted because it's freaking awesome.
Yeah, because us city folk certainly don't. Like, every day I'm just in awe. I wake up and I go outside and I'm like, damn, we live here. This is so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I've always I liked the idea that my family was moving down to Florida when I was in high school, because I was like, oh, I love Florida, good weather, it's gonna be awesome.
You're gonna have a pool.
Yeah, and it was awesome, but it did something to like my mental health and my rhythm, like just the weather never changing. I don't know, having grown up here, being born here and growing up here, and also being from, I'm like the third or fourth generation to be like Brooklyn, New York, born, raised, like I'm like the third or fourth generation of people in New York. So it just felt out of place to be down in Florida, in a place where the weather never changes. Like, this is good for me. This is good for me to like, okay,
well, we
the
really
leaves are
party
changing,
in
now
the
the leaves are
summer.
falling.
We really go all out in the summer, and part of that is because we really hibernate in the winter.
Yeah.
So there's like this cyclical nature to our life that works for us and works for me. I don't know. I feel like that LA depression can really get to you, where it's like every day's sunny and you're like, why am I not happy? But at the same time, some people live like somewhere where it's sunny all the time, and it really helps them, because a lot of people in New York get really depressed over the winter. Like, it's really a thing if you don't know how to like enjoy dark nights with good music.
Well, and also and just make the necessary adjustments.
Mm-hmm. Start waking up earlier.
Start waking up a little bit earlier.
Make sure
you do training.
Go for like training walks, long walks when the sun's at its peak, which is like becomes like 2 p.m. and then it's like dark by 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like everything's kind of in its right place, even though I could see it as wrong from every direction.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a perception thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's always all about like bringing it back to the moment, and it's funny because like we're surrounded by leaves and everything right now, and I think it's so beautiful. This shit stresses my dad out so much, Like, every day, I'm outside like, wow, it's so beautiful, and he'll come up behind me like, you believe how many leaves are falling? And I'm like, well, yeah, they're all gonna fall. It's autumn. Like, they're dying. They're not getting enough sun right now. They're gonna die and fall off, and then we'll clean them up, and then it'll be winter, and if it snows, we'll shovel it. He's already in the winter. It's 70 degrees today, and he's turning on a goddamn wood-burning stove inside. The house is 100 fucking degrees in there. And it's like this anxious, not fully being in this moment, and oh God, I'm gonna have to fucking rake leaves. And it's like, yeah, why is that an anxiety? Like, why can't we just settle into this moment and realize like all the leaves are gonna fall? We'll deal with it when they fall.
The best thing for the lawns is actually to just like
let it go.
Maybe like use the lawnmower, get them all chopped up so they biodegrade, but no one does that. But
yeah,
it'd be interesting if we started doing what like was kind of right for the land, but one day.
Yeah, but it's the suburbs, so like if one person does something, everybody does it. Like, that's
you don't want to be the house that looks like they don't care or doesn't take care of your shit.
Yeah, it's that's a lot of what being in the suburbs. I mean, we could probably do a whole podcast about urban living versus suburban living, and the mental health effects of it and the positive and negatives of both. But there is like pull towards homogeny up here, I feel. And then if you're doing anything weird or different, you're going to be so noticed and become such an outcast, whereas in the city it's the opposite. Everybody's a freak, and even if they're not judging the freaks. It's just, you're just much more noticeable up here, and anything you do is much more noticeable up here, and whether you know it or not, people got their eye on you and know what you're up to and have their little opinions about it or whatever. And Instagram has made it fucking so much worse. So much worse. I really feel bad for the moms today, and the keeping up with the Joneses thing. And you just see the homogeny in real time. with the live, laugh, love, and the script lettering and the wedding photography for every goddamn event of anyone's life. Like when did all that start? It started with Instagram.
Needing a different T-shirt for every
Oh,
thing.
yeah. Oh, look, my child's 3 months old. And now he's 4 months old. And we bought this piece of shit to commemorate it. And then we do this. And now we're doing a gender reveal for our next baby. Like, when did all this fucking nonsense start? It started with social media, Some fucking nerds started doing a gender reveal, and then everyone thinks they need to do it. And then if you don't do it, are you doing the right thing? And it's just like, yeah, all that stuff. I can feel it when I'm up here, I can feel it. I feel that people looking at us like, what, you don't have kids? You're not planning on having kids? What exactly are you doing?
What are we doing?
I think we're doing the same thing Bruce is doing. And I think we're trying to figure out who we are and what our place is in this whole thing by making art about it and making expressions that kind of get us a little closer to God, I think. That's the way I look at it. And it feels, to me, it feels much more important than like having a child right now. I don't know. It feels like we were blessed with gifts and some focus and some resources to do things that could really help people feel at home here. That's what I want our films to feel like. I want our films to feel like, the feeling when you're like peeking on mushrooms and it's just like, whoa, I'm part of this.
Yeah.
There's no other. There's no different. I am that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it might be on the nose because we're doing it through documentary, but I just feel like I wish there were more expressions like that, And I want to keep doing it, and I want to make a lot of films in our life, and I don't know what they're going to be yet, and I think that's what's so cool.
That's pretty fun.
I don't know what they're going to be yet. Like, that's the type of thing that would stress my dad the fuck out because he's so not here. He's like, he just casts a wide net into the future and pulls back any anxieties he thinks he can fucking get. And right now it's shoveling and blowing leaves around. But and the reason, and I tell him this all the time. I say, Dad, if you're going to be that anxious about that kind of stuff, you're bringing me with you. And my level of anxiety, like the stuff that I'm going to have to face, he's 70 years old. He's at the finish line. He doesn't have to worry about money. He doesn't have to think about these things. I'm like, you're worried about the leaves. You're casting your anxiety net into the future and pulling back leaves. I'm pulling back. I'm fucking broke, dude. I don't know where money's ever going to come from again. Fucking, we can't even keep Patreons. Like, we are fucking good at this. And like, I don't know what to do. It's very anxiety inducing. But at the same time, it's very freeing. Like, I don't know what's going to inspire me. I don't know how I'm going to evolve. I don't know if I'm going to go through a period of extreme bitterness and not want to make films and not feel connected. But what I want to tell myself as an artist is keep making things through that. Keep making stuff and just keep putting it out and keep putting those expressions out there and keep them pure. And if we're going through a dark night of the soul, make a movie that's a dark night of the soul movie. And we've done that, and we will probably do that again. But right now it feels like it's time to bring people together and celebrate. And like it feels like our next slate of projects is really focused on that. And I feel like American Sunset kind of started that off. Then we have Wooks. We have one called Wild Magic coming out. We have The Family Trip. And those all feel like celebratory, bringing people together,
Yeah, no, I'm very excited. I've said this before. It's like when you feel rich in ideas, it's like, what could get you down?
I would say the same thing about friends.
Yeah, totally.
When you feel like you have a lot of friends, a lot of people you could talk to and run things by, it's harder to get into that place of depression and isolation and despair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you're accountable to a community, when you're accountable to a family, when you're accountable to a lover or a group of friends or whatever it may be, a band. These are good things for people's lives. This is stuff we started to lose track of because us individuated is a lot more profitable.
Yeah, and we forget that it's an investment. Like, reaching out to your friends is an investment, but it's like probably one of the most important investments you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're good about it. I'm not as good about that.
I think it's for just generally more difficult for men to stay connected.
I just get in my head that no one really wants to hear from me out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Even my closest friends, I'm like, I'll leave them alone. Anyone that has kids, I'm like, okay, call me. reach out. Like, I don't know what that entails. I don't know when the last time you slept or ate or fucking came was. Like, I probably not anytime soon. I don't know. You call me up when you're feeling good or when you're feeling bad, whatever. But I feel really bad interrupting people's lives that have kids, you know, like, hey, just shooting you a call, seeing how you're doing. Like, that's just me being self-conscious, but it's really good. It's a good thing, and I see you do it, and I want to learn from that. Like, you reach out to people, and you call people, and you text people, and I want to be a little better about that.
I usually am. It's usually pretty reciprocal. Like, I'm usually returning a phone call or something like that. Like, I'm, like, lucky to have friends who are maybe more better about staying engaged than I am, you know? But, yeah, no, I can see. I get so, like, lost in a day that it's hard for me to, like, think bigger than that, you know?
Right.
Like, I have to get just, like, so in the thread of, like, okay, next meal, next thing, you know? I don't really think much bigger than that, so that's why I've been loving, like, I didn't do it last weekend, but I think we've been pretty solid. Rachel, Ari, Victoria, about us, like, meeting up on our group on Sundays, so that's been awesome.
Yeah.
Highly recommend anyone who wants to just, like, hang out and doodle for, like, an hour to join us.
Yeah, join our Patreon and get down with, like Cass has a book club. She has an art club where they sit together every Sunday.
It's not really my book club or my art club. It's more of a collective thing. And right now,
I'm telling people how to get to it. I don't care whose it is. I'm telling people how to get to it. Patreon.com/churchofchill, and you join the Discord from there. And there's tons of other like-minded motherfuckers out there. And you guys get together once a week and make art together. It's cool because you're not talking about art. It's not like that kind of thing. You making it. You're doing stuff together.
We talk about everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. And there's a book club, and there's going to be a movie club, and
yeah, we've been talking a lot of shit about this movie club. We have to actually do it.
Well, now we're getting into the months where I'm like, okay, fucking, it's dark at 4:00. Let's watch movies.
We need this movie club.
Yeah. It'll help us. So yeah, Patreon.com/churchofchill. Sorry, we're a little under the weather. We're recovering from a wild couple weeks, and we'll be more consistent with our output now that we're settled a little bit. Right.
Lots more adventures to come. Won't stop. Don't stop. Won't stop.
Sure. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Thanks for joining us, y'all. Peace, love, and magic.